Begging your pardon, sir, but should you go ahead of me? That looks a cruel wound on your arm, and my scratches will wait.
You know the code. First come, first served. Anyway, you look in a bad state. Why is your shirt almost entirely dyed red? A ball is lodged in my arm, clean and simple. But what happened to you?
No, sir. Save your concern, sir. This is not my blood. It's Mr. Howard's blood, the master gunner of my crew. Get more powder, he just said. If we fall silent, there'll be a Frenchman fit and fighting. We should be a-killing. I had just turned when there was a good almighty, pardon me, sir, explosion right by us. The crew next to us had a direct hit through the gun port, and we were laid out. Mr. Howard was caught by a great wedge of wood, with his blood and his brains covering me. I'd like to take off my shirt, but it's a cold day and I can't stop shaking.
A close shave.
The splinters are flying about, and I've got a bit of surgeon to do to me. There's something sticking out of my leg. I could have gone on, but I was staggering around like I had too much grog, and the other men thought I was worse than it is. I hope it's not done me any fearful damage. It feels hot now.
Well, I'm pleased for your company. It's Tom, isn't it?
You know my name? How do you know my name? I'm never on the quarter deck.
I've seen you. You like the chickens. I've seen you at their deck coops, feeding them, talking to them. That attracted my attention. I asked about you.
You saw that? Fool you must think of me. I had to care for the chickens at the foundling hospital where I grew up. I like talking to them, telling them my thoughts. I'm skilled with them too. Talking soothes them, and they're better layers for it. Talk of my touch of the chickens reached the galley, and the cook himself said I could lend a hand. I like animals. If ever we won a big prize, I'd put my share towards a farm. I'd like that. A farm and the care of animals.
And the chickens?
Yes. You remind me of the Admiral. Lord Nelson. They say he knows the names of everyone aboard. It's one of the reasons he's loved. But I don't know if I'll manage if they take my leg.
It's no good talking like that. We're luckier than most on land, and luckier than most in this battle. We have a skilled surgeon to attend to us. Mr. Beatty is one of the best in His Majesty's Navy. I bet there'll be a fair few Frenchies and Spaniards today wishing they had a good as man below their decks.
Yes. You must have been close, though, to see him, if a musket ball hit you.
Yes, it was getting to be close work when I was hit. I could see some starting to swing their grappling irons, and one of the officers tried to kick away a grenade, and it blew him up. That was a fearful thing to see. His scream will haunt me, I'm sure.
Now he's being dismal. Begging your pardon, sir.
No sirring me here, Tom. Call me William. And you're right. But seeing them close up was better than what had passed for the 30 minutes previous. And while they were sailing towards the enemy's fire, we were at their mercy, taking fire but not being able to reply. It was agony. And the wind chose just then to drop to the merest breeze, extending it.
It were agony for us too, hearing their cannon being knocked about and just having to wait our turn. That wait. Coming up alongside before we could give 'em a taste of our British broadside. At least you were in the air. On the gun decks it must have been the closest thing to hell. The preachers at St. Mungo's, the foundling school where I came from, they were on about hellfire and heat, brimstone, but you get all that on the gun deck in a battle. Smoke and screams and sawdust, slippery of blood. You're in the biggest butcher's shop, but instead of sharp knives coming off to take a tasty cut, it's flying metal, and great splinters of wood, and even the cannon themselves flying around, crushing, and the screams of all the people, all ruined and smashed. I got away lightly.
Don't work yourself up. You need to stay calm, and your legs still. I could tell you of terrible sights. It is unbelievable what a broadside ranking deck can do. Everything. Men, rigging, equipment, fixtures and fittings flying swept aside as if by an invisible giant, like one of those that beset Gulliver. Have you read Gulliver's Travels?
No, there's not much time for reading, and anyway, I'm not that clever with letters. All the stories we had at St. Mungo's were what they called improving tales. How good and righteous children get to heaven, that kind of thing.
Well, a broadside is like having the deck carelessly rushed by the biggest giant in great boots, kicking everything sideways. And if it's not a ball that gets you, it's the round shot. And don't believe what they say about French and Spanish gun crews. They are good and well drilled, the best of them. And we were up against a redoubtable, a third-rater. But it did plenty of damage before we could lay into her. In any case, they didn't need to be sharpshooters. At the sort of range we were, just before we could return fire, they could almost reach out and barrel with cannonballs over our deck. It's a miracle that anyone was standing after the first salvo. and there are all the marines in the red, and the admiral and his officers standing out like they were inviting the enemy to shooting practice. My arm is aching like the devil.
Well, we can sit quiet for a moment.
Actually, it's fallen quiet in here. I can hear the battle going on, but something's happening. Who's that they're carrying in? He's covered. I can't make it out. Beatty is with him. Oh, Lord, no. It's...
The Admiral. He's been hit.
It looks bad. His legs were dragging. I think if we see this day out, we may be witnessing something that will be with us all our lives. Pray God he lives. Hardy is in the command, but if word gets out that the Admiral is wounded, it will knock the wind from all our sails, and the battle is far from done. Pray God he lives.